from our heart, living from our core, living from our power, we all get more. We are powerful women.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alignment Summit. I'm Sue Erda. I'm your host for this incredible event, which I am so honored to be able to introduce to you the authors, the co-authors of this upcoming book, Women Living in Alignment. They are all awesome. I just love and have learned from so many of them, so many cool things that I can bring into my own life. And they're just great. I know you're going to love them. And I know you're here, listeners, because you are on your own journey of alignment, living into alignment for yourself, whatever that means for you, living with your soul purpose, with your higher self, with your, all of your dreams and aspirations. And I know that's why you're here. And you're going to get some great gems from these authors. So today I get the honor of talking to Dr. Donna W. Wu, and she's awesome. I've met her before. She was in one of our other anthology books, and I know she's going to have some great messages for us today. And I know that you love her topic because you're listening, because you know that she's talking about how to be naturally healthy. Nope, how to be naturally happy by aligning with your values. And it all ties in, and you're going to love that. So I'm going to read about Donna, and then we'll start talking with her. In over 20 years as a chiropractic physician, Dr. Donna Wu helped thousands of patients, including professionals, executives, other doctors, business owners, and their families. She noticed that their stress levels, desire to please people, and not living life intentionally often contributed to their pain. When she too became burned out professionally and personally, she took a pause and allowed the universe to lead her in an exciting new direction. As power and happiness coach, her main purpose now is to inspire and help people live with intention and cultivate their relationship with themselves so they can create a life of abundance in health, wealth, usefulness, and joy. And Donna, I am happy to talk with you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Thank you. And me too. You're always a breath of fresh air, and always, you've always got this wonderful, contagious smile. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Sue.
Yes, and which is perfect because you are the power and happiness coach. And I love that. That's a perfect title for you because that is what I feel from you. And what would you say power and happiness means to you, and why is it so important?
Well, I believe that power and happiness to me means that, power is to be able to, and it says to have strength and control. But to me, power means, strength and control, and to be able to have power over ourselves and not power over other people. Mm-hmm. And so when we have our own power, we're able to make decisions for ourselves that's going to make us happy naturally. And as far as happiness goes, the definition is living in a state of joy or contentment. And so happiness can be different for everybody. And it's up to us to find out what it is that defines happiness for ourselves. So that's where the happiness, that's what power and happiness means, is to have control over ourselves and to be able to, and to be happy is to live in a state of joy and contentment.
That's great. Would you say you're happy most of the time?
I think I am, but not all the time. And it's something that I've trained myself to be, now, like if you asked me this probably years ago, maybe not. I've always been happy and joyful and smiling, but like deep down, it wasn't always deep down. And now it is with the work I've done. But before, I wanted to spread joy to the world and kind of just spread it out there. But no, I'm not happy all the time.
Yep.
Yes.
I know we're going to talk more about that because you're going to share with us some ways to be happy too. So yes. Donna, I know, what would you say is some kind of principle or something that has impacted your life greatly that you would like to share with other people so we can help them too?
Yes. So the number one principle I think is actually planning. And I kind of talked about this in the other book, Women Living on Purpose. And it really is about planning. And planning, knowing what I want, knowing what my values are, and taking action on that, because that will make us naturally happy. Because if we plan, And for instance, when I talk about planning, like even for health, we're talking about being happy naturally. A lot of times people will go to like alcohol or taking excessive medications. And again, I'm all about moderation. There's a time and place for both of these things, but a lot of times people they want to be quote unquote happy in the moment, and they won't think about what happens in the future. And when I was talking with my patients, a lot of times they would say that, oh, I was doing this all the time. I just didn't realize that when I got to this age or to the state that it would catch up to me.
Mhm.
And so not only health-wise where planning is important, but also planning your life, because if you know what you want, for me, if I know what I want, I'm able to set out a plan to get there. It doesn't just happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes. And
Yeah.
oh, sorry. And then
No,
taking
no, no.
action on it, because, I added a little bit because before I was talking about planning, but we also need to take steps to get to where we want to go.
Yep, absolutely right. Because the planning doesn't matter unless you do something about it. Although I do believe that, if I sit down and I make a plan and I think about it and I have it written down, which I do, I'm big into lists and all that kind of stuff. But if I don't
Yes.
do anything about it, some of it still happens just because it's there with my intention. However, doing something really helps me move forward more fast, quicker.
Yes. And then also that's with aligning our values also, because, if we're
Yes.
planning, align with our values. And then, as I said before, if we're going, previous conversations I've had with you is if we go off track for, sometimes we have, universe coming in and saying, even though you want that plan, that's probably not the plan that's really good for you. So we get some help. And so, but as long as we know what our values are, then we can, if we quote unquote go off track, we can always come back.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as we have that within us and we pay attention to it too, that works. Absolutely.
Yes.
So talking about being naturally happy, what would you say people might have a misconception about happiness? Like, so for instance, I asked you, are you happy all the time? I'm thinking, well, that's, you don't have to be happy all the time to have a overall happy life. But what other
Yes.
misconceptions do you think people have about happiness?
I think a lot of people think happiness is a destination, but happiness is really a continual process and an ongoing process. And it's also something that's not given to us. I think it's really our choice to be happy.
Mhm.
For example, there's things coming at us all the time. And just like, you guys went through a hurricane and it's horrible, but you were able to, you're here and you had such a great attitude towards the hurricane. That was a natural thing that happened. And then also with me, there's things throughout my life where, it's just, oh my gosh, you have good questions, even though I have these questions. It's not an automatic, think quote unquote crappy things happen. Yeah. And if we can look at it and like, okay, why is this quote unquote crappy thing happening to me? And there must be a reason that this is happening, and choose to say, okay, instead of like, oh my gosh, my life is ruined, it's never going to be, it's a horrible thing. We can choose to say, okay, this crappy thing happened, but why did it happen? And look at the positive and the good that came out of it, instead of saying, oh, this is just bad. And if we can always focus on, there's always something good in things that happen. And if we can focus on the good and the positive and maybe dive a little deeper to try to figure out why it happened, then we then we can be happier. And just like, and I guess another example is when I was writing this chapter for the upcoming book, I wrote about it in my book. I wanted everything to be perfect when I wrote, but things weren't perfect at home. But I had to look at it and say, okay, you know what? Things aren't perfect, because maybe that's not what the universe wants me to write about. The universe wants me to write about that we're not gonna, we may have a goal, but we may not, we may not get there 100% the way we want it, but it's happening for a reason, and we can still choose to be happy.
Yep. Right. It's a choice. Like you said that before, happiness is a choice, and it's something we can make in every single moment. It's totally up to us, and we get to choose. So I love that. Donna, would you say, you've worked with lots and lots of clients. Would you say that there are any common obstacles or roadblocks that a lot of people are facing?
Yes, there's a lot of people, they're high achievers, they're givers, they have responsibility, and they just really want to help people and please people. And sometimes they're afraid to speak up because they don't want to hurt their other, another person's feelings, or they don't want to set boundaries because they don't think that, if they set boundaries that it's going to be bad for them, or, not nice, they're being mean and evil. And, I even had husbands and wives, they would tell me something. They would tell me, like, I would treat the husband, I would treat the wife. They would each tell me things, but they wouldn't tell each other. And I go, why don't you guys tell each other? Just talk to each other and let them know. And they wouldn't. But so I think it's important to speak up. And even for me, like, speaking up, I would feel bad because I thought I was evil for feeling the way I do or not having boundaries. But then I've learned that speaking up actually can help other people. And just like even now, like talking about what I'm talking about in my chapter, has helped me, help me as well as other people. And then I've learned that setting boundaries aren't, they're important. They're not being mean. It's actually important to set a boundary.
Yep, it absolutely matters because, it matters. Everybody's energy affects us too. So boundaries really help with that. So we could stay centered within our own self.
Yes, yes.
Yep. And so Donna, you have a passion around helping people with basically 3 things. I'm going to read it because I know what I can't say them off by hand like you can. But
Okay.
helping people with have a strong relationship with themselves, speaking up, and setting boundaries so they can reclaim their power and happiness. So why is this important for you to help people with this?
Well, I believe the most important relationship is with ourselves because that does affect our health, our wealth, our usefulness, joy, and world peace. And why that's important is because, and we were talking about this before the recording started, is that we have so much in this world right now where people are fighting each other because they, one person says something and then, they may not agree, but if we can look at it as like, okay, well, that's just their opinion and not to take it personally. Because sometimes I would take things personally too, like, oh my gosh, why are they being so mean? Or, oh, they're just not nice, or, what is this? But I've had to learn that it's not personal. It's just the way people are. And then instead of fighting and getting into it with other people, we can just say, hey, you know what, if that's the way they are, and this is the way I am, and I can choose to spend time with someone, or I can choose not to. And that's why that's important for that aspect of having a good relationship with ourselves. And we can also choose healthier choices for us too, because we're talking about being happy naturally, instead of going to alcohol or drugs or some other alternative source. Speaking up is important with ourselves, so we're not, instead of covering up the problem or not dealing with the problem, if we're speaking up, then we can kind of let it out, and it's, it's okay. It's all right to say what we feel. And like Dr. Seuss says, those who matter won't mind, and those who mind don't matter. I love that quote. So speaking up will help us be healthy and happy naturally. We don't have to go to some outside source, and we can get it from ourselves. And then setting boundaries is also important because it's okay to have our values. And if we want to live the way we want to, it's okay. And let the other people live the way they want, and that's okay too. And it's important that we're all different for a reason. We don't all have to be the same.
Yep,
So that's
absolutely.
why,
Yeah, it's so important. And, and it's about that allowing, right? Just allow things to be. It is what it is, not putting pressure or energy on other people to be,
yes.
fit in this box with us that we want to live in, or whatever it is we set for ourselves. And I'm saying a box, it's not really true. It's about aligning with our values. My values might be different than someone else's. So that's absolutely fine. But I got to make peace with myself with that, right? That's about me. So why is it so important that we resolve these challenges within ourselves?
So along the same lines is so that we have, not only, well, I say that when we have peace within ourselves, there's going to be world peace, and we're also going to be, because I'm a chiropractor and people have told me I'm good with health, it's also healthier for us. We can, instead of, again, resorting to drugs or alcohol or some external remedy, we have that remedy within ourselves, and exercise, and when we're happy, we're going to release endorphins naturally, and we don't need to take something, whether it's legal or not. We can get those endorphins. Everything that the universe gave us is right here with us. And so when we're resolving the issues within ourselves, we're peaceful within ourselves, and we can bring peace out to the world.
Yep,
And
I
we can
agree
be
with you.
healthier.
And I love that you made that correlation, because it's true. It starts with each of us, right? So if each of us takes care of our own energy, our own peacefulness, all of that, it does spread out to the world, because there will be conflicts in our life, in our world, and all of that. But so each of us needs to take that responsibility.
Yes, yes. And going back, even now that, sometimes they talk about the healthcare system. Again, if we're happier, we're going to make healthier choices for ourselves, and we won't be a tax on the healthcare system.
Yep, absolutely. It all matters. It's all connected, interconnected. So that makes perfect sense. So Donna,
Yes.
you've had years and years where you have traveled and you've helped thousands of patients and you've connected with lots and lots of people. What has all that experience taught you?
Well, we're actually basically the same. Like, we all want happiness. We all want our families to be happy. We want to be joyful. We want to have success. We're all the same. And so basically that's what it's taught me. We're all the same, even though we're different. And we each have our own contributions to contribute. And we should celebrate our differences versus trying to be the same all the time. And I know there's a lot going on, like right now, they want us all to be the same. When I say they, you hear the outside forces and media, but we're supposed to be different, and we need to celebrate ourselves, and so that we can be happier. And, even within families, right? We're brothers and sisters and parents and children. And sometimes we're like, how can we be related? Because sometimes some of our thoughts are so different, but we were given different gifts for a reason. And some of the classes I've gone to, they're saying, don't expect others to hear the gift that you were given. That was your gift that was given to you. So don't always expect others to understand that. And so, that's my observation, is that we all basically want the same thing. We have different ways of getting there, and that we all have different gifts, and we should each be happy with the gifts that we have been given, and be happy with others' gifts as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because we're all on this planet together. It's like, let's make the most of it, each of us and our gifts. I like that a lot. And Donna, I just want to ask one final question. So naturally healthy, I mean, I keep saying healthy, and I know I think of you, but it's tied together, right? But so let's talk about being naturally happy. What makes you naturally happy?
I am very positive. I do see there is always there's always good out of something that happens. And, because people always think, like, are you always happy? And like, as I said earlier, no, I'm not. And I do get into these where I can get really sad and I would almost say depressed, but then I bring myself out of it by, thinking of the positive. I may not always write it down, but I do get more effectiveness if I write it down or put it in my phone, so then I can look at it. But even if I'm not writing it down, I'll think about it. Also, getting around like-minded people has really helped, and knowing that everybody thinks the same, and it's okay, but to surround myself with people who do. Exercise, that's what I also do. Exercise is very important, releases natural endorphins. Oh my gosh, I should have written all this down. But just being positive and eating, what I eat is also very important, because there are certain foods that make me feel happier, such as fruits, vegetables, all the things that they talk about. Although I do have a weakness for potato chips, and I will eat chips, and I do eat but I do eat everything. People are surprised. I don't not eat certain things, but I do try to eat more of the healthy foods that give me more energy and that can bring out the happiness.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and then learning, like I said, learning to speak up, setting boundaries, and having that strong relationship with myself has really helped me be naturally healthy and happy. And yes, healthy and happy go together.
They do, because if we don't have our health, it's tough sometimes to be happy. So that's very important. Yep, that's great. So Donna, this has been a pleasure. I really enjoy you so much. I know our listeners have enjoyed you, and I know that you have a gift for us. Will you please tell us about that, and also how we can, stay connected with you?
Oh, yes. So I think planning is a very important part of our day. A lot of people talk about having a morning routine, but I believe in having a nighttime routine. And so I have a nighttime routine to help you get a better night's sleep, so you are happier and healthier. And to get that, you can go to Dr. Donna Wu Coaching at gmail.com and put in the subject line nighttime routine, and then it's DRDONNAWOO coaching at gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, it's at drdonnawoo.com. Oh, I'm sorry, at Dr. Donna Wu. And then Facebook, it's just Donna W. Wu.
Okay, awesome. So we can connect with you. And I know you share some videos and things like that on social media, which is awesome. I really enjoy that. It helps me to be a little bit more upbeat. And I really appreciate you so much, Donna. Thank you so much for this interview, for sharing this great information. I certainly know that I would like to be more naturally happy, even though I'm pretty happy anyway. I also, it helps. It's a practice. So I appreciate your information. And thank you so much for being a part of this book, the whole collaboration and everything. You are a light, and you have beautiful energy. And I just love being a part of this with you.
Well, thank you too, Sue. And if it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't be in any of these books, but you've been so good at. And you said, I said pushing earlier, but you're like pulling. I appreciate you, and you're a light as well. And I'm so grateful to have met you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And listeners, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you have been here. I appreciate that you're giving yourself the gift of all of these interviews, because there's such beautiful information here that when you bring it into your life, you will be able to feel more aligned with you, whatever that means for you. So thank you for doing that. Be sure to buy this book, Women Living in Alignment, on launch day, which is November 2nd. You can go to our website, womenlivinginaalignment.com, and we will guide you to the Amazon page where you can purchase this book. And it's a 99-cent Kindle launch. So launch day, it's 99-cent Kindle. If that is something that you like as Kindle, that's the day to buy it. And we also have the paperback available on that day too. So be sure to buy the book. You will love these stories of these amazing 20 women, and stay on your journey of alignment. It really matters. And as Donna said, once you get peace within you, it goes out to the whole world. That goes for happiness. It goes for everything. So thank you so much. Stay on your journey. You matter. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now.